Broadway has always been City is Living Laboratory's organizing principle for our work in New York. And in 2012, we had our first walk in Chinatown as a part of a marathon trek along the whole corridor. Since then, we've organized many walks and workshops in this neighborhood, exploring the environmental issues that matter most to the people who live in, work in, and love this community. With the leadership of artists and designers like Jean Shin, Mary Ting, Joyce Wang, Tat Fu Tan, and Stephen Fan, we've been working on proposals and projects that engage the community in diving deeper into some of these concerns. Inspired by a common thread in many of our artist proposals, we're looking at issues of climate, equity, and health through the lens of the food system. At our last workshop in January, participants were sharing some of their favorite Chinatown memories. And one of our participants mentioned that when they go to visit their family in Chinatown, the first question is always, "Have you eaten yet?" Food is a universal language of love. It's a carrier of our memories, of our cultures and traditions. We are mapping the complexities of the food system, identifying risks and celebrating inherent sustainable practices. We're looking at ways to introduce more green space, from portable gardens to the DIY planters Jean Shin has dreamt up, converting plastic bottles into vessels for traditional herbs. We're celebrating and sharing cultural knowledge through projects like Tat Fu Tan's Wujing Oracle cards. This beautiful deck of cards features watercolor paintings of produce items with healing properties that you can buy in any market right here in Chinatown. The cards come with a booklet being produced in partnership with traditional Chinese medicine practitioner Donna Ma that will help people understand what foods they could seek out at various times of the year or for various health impacts. These projects are just the beginning, planting the seeds for a growing initiative.
One of a series of projects that we're currently working on in Manhattan Chinatown is to map the dynamics of public and private spaces and uses, with an emphasis on how the food systems impacts those dynamics. Well, the mapping project is seen as a tool to spread awareness of the public realm as a public asset. So how does the usage of streets, curbs, and sidewalks have implications on climate change? For example, street tree coverage, to issues of social equity, such as street vendor rights. And the map has been informed by insights from local community members and organizations. Ultimately, the map is conceived of as a directory of organizations that are working with these issues and to try to connect the public to those organizations.
I see art making complex environmental issues visible, really giving some kind of visual form and representation to things that we don't necessarily see. The project that Stephen Fan and I are working on in Chinatown is about engaging various people who care about Chinatown in conversations about what they value and why, and what changes they have seen or they're concerned about due to gentrification, climate change, shifting demographics, and the food policy environment in New York City. We want to expose the multiplicity of visions for a sustainable food system in Chinatown and understand where its resilience lie. Climate change is affecting the farmers who plant and harvest Asian vegetables for New York City. Fresh fruit and vegetable consumption is critical for health. Access to affordable, complete, and culturally appropriate foods is key to healthy lives and key to food security. And finally, equity cuts across all of these issues and many issues within our food systems, including issues regarding labor, economic development and entrepreneurship of small business and street vendors, immigration, and the Asian American experience in the United States.
We all know that the global food supply has many challenges to come as we adapt to a changing climate. But we can't leave this conversation without also talking about equity. New York City's Chinatowns have been amongst the worst hit neighborhoods by COVID-19. In addition to the challenges that all of our urban communities have faced, Chinatowns have faced the additional horror of racism and prejudice-based fears. We encourage you to not just support the projects that we're doing in Chinatown, but to support Chinatown businesses.